A convicted Baltimore serial killer has died this weekend. Joe Metheny, the bald man in the video, was found dead in his cell.
What's good, guys? Welcome back to Crimetober. Tonight's case comes from my city, Baltimore, Maryland, where a guy became infamous for not only the murders of what he did to them, but what he did with their remains. I've always wanted to touch on this one and was saving it for the great time. And now we're going to dig into it for Crimetober. This case is of Joe Metheny, the so-called Cannibal Killer. Joseph Roy Metheny was born in 1955. It had been reported that he lived a difficult childhood. His father died when he was young, and his mother had neglected him. By the time he was a teen, he had ran away and became homeless, living throughout under the bridges and camps in Baltimore. The people that knew him described him as a drifter. They said he had a heavy drug use and he had a frightening temper. But no one would be prepared for the things that Mr. Joe would do. The same communities that he would live out in, meaning the homelessness, drug addicted environments. By time in the 1990s, he would prey on the same individuals that he would be around. What are we doing, Mr. Joe? So he would prey on women that were struggling with drug addiction and homelessness. The same, like I said, the same type of environments that he himself had went through. So he admitted that how he would get these women is he would lure them in to his trailer, offering some type of drugs, and then he would attack them. Attack them, I mean he would either strangle them or stab them and then dispose of their body. Metheny had later confessed that he had killed over 10 people, but only 2 of those 10 people had been confirmed. One of the most disturbing details actually came out of Metheny's own mouth. Y'all. He says, and I verbatim, he claimed that after killing some of his victims, he chopped up their remains, he mixed the flesh with pork and beef, and sold it at a roadside barbecue stand. He bragged that no one could tell the difference. Did y'all watch that show that was on Amazon Prime? That's what this is reminding me as I'm talking about this, where they was making they was making tacos or some shit, and they was killing people, and they was putting oh my God, nasty. Now, law enforcement thought that Metheny was just trying to boost up what his crimes and what he was doing. They thought that he was just trying to be a sick monster because it never had been confirmed, of course, that he would mix the flesh with, items of beef and pork. But they just said that they thought he was just trying to be a nasty monster. But either way, whether he was lying or telling the truth, that rumor had stuck with him. And that would kind of be what he was known for, a cannibal killer. So in 1996, Metheny was arrested after police connected him to the disappearance of several women in the Baltimore area. Investigators said that he confessed, but he showed no remorse in his actions and what he did to these women. He was connected to killing 2 women, Kimberly Spicer and Catherine Magaziner. Though he claimed that he killed other people, like I said before, it had never been confirmed about anyone else. In 1998, he was sentenced to death, but that was later reduced and it ended up going into life without the possibility of parole. So in August of 2017, Joe Metheny was actually found in his cell at the Western Correctional Institution in Cumberland, Maryland, and he was 62 years old at the time.
A convicted Baltimore serial killer has died this weekend. Joe Metheny, the bald man in the video, was found dead in his cell. In this WJZ file video, Joe Metheny shows police where he buried the bodies. The 62-year-old was serving 2 life sentences without parole for kidnapping, sexual assault, and 2 counts of murder.
So I tried to figure out how he died in his cell, because they did report that there was going to be an investigation because he was found unresponsive in his cell, but there has not been anything to say what he died from. But many of people in law enforcement said that he never showed any remorse. So not saying that you shouldn't have remorse, but I'm just saying, they said, he took pride in creating the story, putting the fear in the story of how, you know, he would harm these women and do these things to women. And it's really trifling when you think about it, because what the hell were you thinking? Putting it, now I'm going to be looking at meat differently. But the case of Joe Metheny is just a case that makes you say, what the hell? Because not only about his crimes, but the possibility that, you know, we may never know the real truth about if he did in fact put the flesh in the, you know, in the meat. But did he really kill 10 people? And if he did kill 10 people, why do we not know that? What he do with them bodies if he did? You know what I'm saying? Because they only found 2 women. But this has been a story that has been like a legend in Baltimore. Like, if you go to Baltimore, there's many stories that, just like the gypsy story that I covered, if y'all want to go check that one out, like there's a lot of different stories that have haunted and always been a mystery in Baltimore about what the hell has been going on. And this was one. This was one. I was like, he did what? When I heard about this story growing up, I was like, he did what? That is sick. That is sick. Like, you mixed flesh with pork and beef. Good thing I don't eat pork. I mean, I eat a little beef here and there, because you should have beef when you're on your menstruation, because it's really good for iron. But now you're going to have me second guessing what I'm eating when I'm at a barbecue stand. What's wrong with you, Mr. Joe Metheny? But that's today's episode. Trying to give you guys some cases that are interesting, not super duper long, because baby, this is 31 days. 31 days. That's a lot of information to retain, okay? So if there's anything that is missing that you want to see, honey, let me know. But baby, we're going to make these videos short because it's 31 days. So stay tuned for tomorrow. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Be back here, same time tomorrow. Oh, right.